Hello everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. Today we're going to do top 5 witch perfumes. So I have my lovely sisters here ready to meet all in the Coven as we brew the potions and create some very interesting solutions to the problems of this world. Because yes, witches for the longest time have been treated and dealt with as if they were a negative to society, when in reality, they're the ones keeping everything afloat. So of course, men usually in power love to get rid of witches. Why? Because the witches know the truth. And so not on my watch. The witches are protected here. The witches are in a safe place in the fashion bunker and in the fragrant bunker. So we work together to brew a list of perfumes for the witches and maybe even by the witches. So let's get started. First, subscribe to my channel here on the tubes. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon. Superdacob, all spelled together there as well for extra perks. Thank you to my members and patrons who have already pledged. This video is being filmed live in front of a virtual audience of witches. So if you want to join me in the chats, go follow me on my main Superdacob channel to partake in the live chats. So, I do have my trusty witch pumpkin here, Christian Lacroix, who's also a witch, by the way. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. And so, pumpkin, oh, so delight. Tell us about the perfume fright. Who may it be, the first selection of thee I want to see? Appear now in front of me. Interesting. We have Poison by Christian Dior. Of course, it had to be this purple color right here as well. Thank you, Pumpkin. Very well done. Yes, of course. Poison had to be on the list. And this is also why I wanted to get Poison out first. Because, well, why keep the suspense until the end? Poison by Christian Dior, released in 1986, but was already there in 1985. Dark plum, dark tuberose, the more indolic aspect of tuberose. Iris, vanilla, spices, it's deep, it's cloying, and yes, also all of its other iterations are very well suited to a witch, and I'm talking about hypnotic poison that came in the 90s, tender poison a little bit less so. Then we have midnight poison, also incredible, and pure poison, as well as Poison Girl, believe it or not, even though the name not so suited to that fragrance in my humble opinion. But Poison, with its dark, foreboding tuberose heart, really vibrates and resonates, almost as if it's a potion. In fact, for the longest time, when Dior's Poison was released, it was advertised as with the following slogan stating, "Poison is my potion." And there was like a female pale hand with dark purple nails and lips and surrounded by snakes, holding the bottle in the hand with like a twisted kind of body shape. And then it's also poisoned apple, if you may. The shape of the bottle. Of the Esprit de Parfum, the eau de toilette is more elongated, but also looks like a poison vial. In fact, with the Esprit de Parfum, we get the poison bottle, the poisoned apple reference, but with the eau de toilette bottle, we get more of the reference of why these ridges were placed on the bottle. The ridges were placed on the bottle to resemble old Elizabethan poison bottles, pharmaceutical poison bottles, because poison bottles for the blind, so that the blind would know that there's poison in glass bottles. The poison bottles all had ridges on them. So when you're blind and you touch a poison bottle, you feel the ridges that signal to you that that container, glass container, actually has poison within it. So a stylized version of those ridges is placed on the poison bottles, whether it be the eau de toilette, esprit de parfum, eau de cologne light, and parfum. Yes, all of those concentrations were made of poison before Dior butchered it, before LVMH butchered it, and now we only have an eau de toilette available, which is just a shadow of its own former glory as of today, 2024. But if you manage to hunt down a vintage bottle of poison, I recommend getting the eau de toilette from the 80s. It's my favorite concentration. Moving on to the next one. Now, the next one, I want to talk to my Raven. Raven, Raven, from the stars up above. Where is the new perfume? If we were to push and shove, show yourself. Another tuberose. We got Tuberose Criminelle by Serge Lutens in its potion bottle. One of the first releases of Tuberose Criminelle in the splash container as a 50 milliliter bottle. This one, what a masterpiece. This is a dark, foreboding tuberose. This is a camphorous tuberose. This is a very indolic tuberose that starts off criminally intense. And yet, even though it starts off criminally intense, and you might be very scared of it, just as you might be scared of a witch when you first encounter one and you think, well, just because it's a witch, she has to be evil. Just because this perfume starts off with a punch, it has to be evil. Instead, how deceiving first impressions can be. Because Tuberose Criminelle, as it starts drying down, it softens, it becomes delicate, it becomes sweet, not sickly sweet, but entertainingly sweet, in a way that you just cannot stop sniffing it and smelling it on yourself. It's soft, it's kind, it's gentle. After it appeared to be criminal, very much suited to the characteristics of how we perceive witches in today's society. So, first impressions, very deceiving. Do not judge a book by its cover. Always try to get to the core and understand where this person is really truly coming from. You'll be surprised. Most of the times, people do come from a good place in their hearts. So do not judge a witch harshly, ever, because if you do so, the joke's on you. Interesting, isn't it? Then I have another. Thank you, Serge Lutens. There you go. We have Mahora, or Maora, another gorgeous fragrance, this time by Guerlain from the year 2000, another tuberose. Yeah, the tuberose is quite popular in this coven, I can tell you that much, and it is very, 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 very poetic. Witches might know how to brew potions, but witches also know how to plant seeds that will grow and that will show themselves and appear in time. They need time. They require time. That time is part of the poetry of being a witch. Patience is key. Where there appears to be only death and absence of life, in reality, if you know how to look, you will find life. The life is hiding between the crevice of death. Once you find that life, you will be able to grow and thrive. Just like in the desert, where you think that there's no water, no life, a seed has been planted eons ago, just waiting to grow and become alive. That's exactly what Mahora is. It's a promise of life within death. It is also a promise that nothing is forever. Everything comes to an end, and a true witch knows that nothing is forever. The true witch lets go of her ego and accepts mortality whenever that may come. It's coming for all of us. So, Mahora is a very fascinating, almost sociological study on human behavior when it comes to accepting death. In my humble opinion, that's what this perfume is about. It's like a little seed that pops open, and the flower and the roots of this plant is the actual perfume itself. The entire bottle almost looks like it is a talisman of sorts, like a spell has been cast on this bottle. A curse, maybe, or something positive. We do not know. But all we do know is that the power of this fragrance is real, because when you smell it, it tells you stories, deep stories, very fascinating stories, scary stories. But they're only scary, we realize they're only scary because if we are not ready to accept our mortality, this story is scary. If we are ready to embrace our mortality, then this story becomes a story of passion and life. It's all about how you manage to see things. Do you see them only in the surface? Do you choose to be that person that judges superficially a book always and only by its cover? Or do you accept and embrace the reality of things, which is much deeper and much more rooted in what is behind the surface, what is underneath the surface? How deep are you ready to dig to get to the truth, to get to the core of the truth? If you are ready, then this perfume is for you. Otherwise, no. Otherwise, this potion is way too powerful for you. I would know. I've been testing it over and over and over again. It is powerful. So powerful that sometimes I wonder. Let's see what our friend the Raven has to say about Mahora. In fact, if we look really closely into the eyes of the Raven, we shall see the truth hiding, lurking in the depths of our own dark souls. But that's not all, is it? Raven, far above. When it comes to push and shove, who's our next loving dove? Appear. Interesting. Lorenzo Villoresi's Sandalo. Now, this is a more modern bottle. I do have in my collection the older formulation that actually has a sticker with the name, designation, and concentration of the perfume. They have updated that to just a printed bottle. This is a witch's brew. For real. This thing is on another level. It is dark, it is menacing, it is intense. The liquid in my bottle has turned almost black after many years. It is dry, it suffocates you. I mean, when you spray it, it's not your soft, cutesy, almost resinous-y type of sandalwood accord. No. This one is earthy, airy. It's as if a spell has been cast and whatever is in front of that spell is just like blasted off into the air, and it has turned to dust and ashes. And those ashes and that dust smells of Sandalo by Lorenzo Villoresi. I mean, this thing is amazing. It is very, very powerful, very symbolic perfume. You cannot wear this outdoors. This is a very intimate perfume to wear only in the Coven as you are getting ready and gearing up to cast a spell, to put together all the ingredients necessary for some very, very important spell. This is an intimate perfume that I only wear at home. I never wear this outdoors because it's just so complex and complicated. Nobody would get it. And they might even be very, 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 very annoyed by it, irritated by it, because not a lot of people are ready for this. Not a lot of people are ready for this. Yes, T-Pal in the chat says it attracts warlocks. It is a sort of a warlock perfume, definitely. Definitely. Tina says, wow, Opoponax, oak moss, amber, patchouli, musk. It's a bomb. It's a bomb. Sandalo is sandalwood. But the depths and darkness of this one, it's almost like a bleeding heart, begging for more pain. How do you like my background? I prompted my AI, my witch AI, Bubbles the Witch, to generate it following my instructions. I hope you enjoy it. Look how beautiful the Coven is, with all the jack-o'-lanterns and the mist and the fog. And the witches are all gathering and gearing up to join me for a seance and a little magic, if you may. But before that, I want to call here upon me our mother witch from the Coven that has been with us for many, many decades. She knows. She is present even though she's gone. She is with us even though she's missing. And she listens even though she has no ears. She sees even though the eyes are gone. And she speaks even though the bottom of her jaw is missing. And what does she have to tell us about the final perfume, the top 5 witch perfumes? Oh, Mother Witch of eons ago, can we please know? Talk to us in our hour of despair. Who will be the perfume heir? Do you need a lock of my hair to make this perfume appear? Or, because to you 'tis so dear, can you show it to us in fear? Appear. Oh. Of course. It had to be Aromatics Elixir. What else could it have been? Thank you, Mother Witch. Fabulous choice, by the way. Well, what do you know? Aromatics Elixir by Clinique. Obviously, the mother of all witches has to wear this potion. Why? Well, because it is medicinal. It is herbal, herbaceous. It is a fragrance that smells of antique potions. It smells of antique spells being cast, curses and relief. It's a perfume that smells of pain, but it also smells of relief. It's a perfume that smells of journeys and passages, finding a way to solve riddles, problems, to find solutions to many issues. And I gotta say, I have reviewed all 5 of these fragrances that you've seen me list in this video, and I have also reviewed Aromatics Elixir. And if you watch my review of Aromatics Elixir, you will notice that, in particular, this fragrance has a way of showing itself like a witch would. It has a way of cloaking itself, hiding itself, and being repulsive and repellent, or repugnant at the beginning. And you have to find your way to it. And in fact, I describe this perfume as a walk through the woods and getting lost in the woods, getting lost in very, very deep, thick, dark, menacing woods, and finding your way towards Aromatics Elixir. You should go check out that review because it explains in detail just how this potion really works. Fascinating. Now, that would be my top 5 perfumes for witches. Thank you, Aromatics Elixir. See ya. However, a witch is also known to break the rules, and I am going to break them today as well, because there's one more perfume I want to talk to you about. The ultimate witch that was walking among us for many decades and left us with one potion, very rare, very special, But before we get to that one, I also want to talk quickly about, well, first of all, thumb up the video and subscribe. I mean, come on. This is fragrant entertainment, baby. I want to say I'm not a big fan of candles, but when it comes to the witch season or the witching hour, I do make exceptions. There are some candles that I really do enjoy, and especially, round about Halloween season, a lot of brands start making and releasing candles for the season. My favorite one comes in a cauldron. Sometimes it comes in a cauldron. It is Witch's Brew. Oh, man. By Sand and Fog. And by the way, hashtag not sponsored by any of these brands. I bought all of this stuff myself. Thank you very much. Okay, so I have the version that comes in the cauldron, and it's called Witch's Brew by Sand and Fog. And then I also found it in this bigger container because I am obsessed with it. There it is, Witch's Brew. And look at the lid. It's a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but that's the lid. This witch has been flying around. See, this one is much bigger. It smells of 90s potpourri. It's a time bomb. It's like traveling to the past. It's a 90s potpourri satchel of natural flowers and dried fruits that our moms would buy and then bring them back and put them in the closet. It's a very specific New York smell. Very, very specific New York smell. I love it to bits. And then there's one more. These are the only candles I buy for the Halloween season. This one is also really good. Smells slightly different, but it's again Witch's Brew. This one's from California Candle Company with the raven and the skulls and jack-o'-lanterns on it. This one is spicy, licoricey, burnt woods, vanilla. This one is very, very deep. This is not your innocent pumpkin spice latte. No, this is not a pumpkin spice smell. This is like getting lost in these woods, humidity and air mixing together with despair, a bit of fire in the air, and a witch's burning hair. Yum. And a smidge of licorice, too. Now, the sixth perfume had to be from the last really in the spotlight living witch for all the best, never for the worst. And you guessed it. That would be Boudoir by Vivienne Westwood. This is the ultimate witch fragrance, especially now that Vivienne is no longer with us. Oh, man. Boudoir actually is the Coven. This boudoir is the Coven. Well, it's inside the Coven, but in the boudoir is where all the witches meet, where all the witches greet, where all the witches eat. It is a gorgeous marigold, dirty, earthy, tobacco, leather, rose accord. It's a post-coital smell. It's a roll in the hay in the best of ways. And it gives you almost a memory of life before death, but it also gives you a memory of what life used to be once you are no more. So for that occasion, I have a visual here that really, really symbolizes this moment. There's a little bit of green there, but we have this gorgeous, again, another Christian Lacroix moment. We have this glass container. There's not Beauty and the Beast, honey. There's not just one rose dangling here dying. There's three of them, held by a skeleton. Oh, if these roses could talk. the green screen kind of covers up the green part. But if these roses could talk, the stories they would say and tell. And I gotta say, there's a reason why there are 3 roses. And there's a reason why only one skeleton hand is holding them. But that's a mystery to be solved, perchance, another day. For now, we stay, 'cause we slay. And in the Coven, if you come to stay and you try to betray, you will not live to see another day. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, thumb it up, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts and prayers down below, your wishes and despairs. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. I shall see you all in my next video. Subscribe.